Hi everyone, it's Desiree and I am here with Birch Press Designs and another design team project. And this one, we dug in. So that's what I want you to do. I want you to grab your scraps. I want you to grab your dies. Even if you have the layering dies, you can see here. So I've pulled out the pinpoint radial plate, which I am loving this plate. I pulled out the stitched heart set. Now remember with this, it puts the stitches outside of the image. So you get the solid heart and then the stitched image is on the outside. So your panel that's left. So I think that's cool. I have the Kaleidoscope heart and the layers. I'm going to be focusing on this section here, and I'll explain. I have the epiphany. I thought that was funny, the epiphany, because I came up with an epiphany here. And I'm focusing on this section here. And then I pulled out the floral heart. And of course, that's already in a heart shape. So these here, this is going to create my background, and this is going to create a background as well. But I noticed when it comes to the Birch Press Designs dies, again, sometimes we have focal points already created, such as this one. This one's going to give you the heart. Here are the layers, okay? And you already have your shape. There's not a difference in the image that you're cutting. So this is already like a focal point. Now I'm going to real quick glue this one together. Hopefully, of course, I've been using this and now I've got to unclog it. And the beauty of it, when it comes to these, I used my scraps because, you know, we just cannot throw anything away. At least I cannot. I must keep my scraps because for like these here, I can use this up. You know, why would I want to throw that away? So I'm just going to layer this up. So as we put these layers together, we're already forming our image. We don't have a cutout from another image. So Birch Press has all kinds of different layering dies. Now, to me, or for me, I know Birch Press came out, or when I first started seeing the Birch Press, it was their layering plate dies, their full plate dies, and they are absolutely beautiful. Absolutely, yes. They do have a price point, but I'm looking at different ways to use them, and that's how that looks. Okay, so you can see this image here, there's nothing that's popping out. Now you could save these flowers that came out, but this here is our layering die. Now I'm going to set that aside. So that's for this one, the Flora Heart. That's what it looks like. All right. Now for this one here, and this one is similar. Now this, the Kaleidoscope Heart, is actually, or will actually fit with the stitched heart set. So if you put this in and you cut your plate, you have the opening for this here. So this actually matches these die sets. So if you have those two, we're good. But we have this section in here. So when it comes to the plates, you know, your full plate dies, the layering dies, and even this one, you have this component right here, and you have this one here. So when you die cut this plate, you can have this outer section, you have this ring, and then you have this center. So I am focusing on those centers because they do cut individually, which I think is really cool because you can have these different colors of cardstock as you create your layers. This is the same way as well. So again, you have your heart, but this piece here will actually cut out and be separate from everything else. Again, you can flip your colors of cardstock, or use different cardstocks, whatever it is you're looking for. So here are the centers of the Epiphany, and here is the center for the Kaleidoscope. So let's get these real quick on top and get them layered. Now, you can use, and I have tried to use it, I'll be honest. So there's these, I am a fan of liquid glue. I like the Art Glitter Glue. I like the Tonic Nouveau Deluxe. I like the Simon Says Tacky Glue. Anything that is a liquid adhesive, I am a fan. Me and tape runners, we just do not get along. Operator error. I know that's me. Now I have my favorite tape runner is the pink ATG gun, but I'm sure I would just like right into my camera there, and I don't want that to happen. So that's how that looks when it's layered, and you can see the colors that I'm using, and I'm going to explain that in a section, in a moment as well. Let's get these. Now, what's also out there is a glue sponge. I have used the glue sponge. I think it's a great idea. I really do. I think it's a wonderful idea. It's just, it doesn't work for me. You have to remember to keep it upside down. And if you don't, it takes time for that glue to get back through the sponge. Again, I'm moving at different paces, but there is something out there that is just a little bit probably easier. I do find that my hands get really gunky, and you know what? My hands get gunky on this anyway. So there's really no difference in the level of gunkiness because I just get into my work. I am a messy crafter. I like to get in. You can see my fingers has all kinds of other inks on them. So yeah, I get into my crafting and I have a lot of fun. And here is the center of the Epiphany. So now we have our 3 centers. All right, again, we're stretching our plate die and a heart-shaped die. We're stretching it out. What else could we do with this? Now, what I also did was I dug into my stash to find some panels. I love making background panels, whether it's ink smushing, watercolor, or anything else, and I keep those. So I found a couple of them. Again, we've got some pinks and greens, and I've got some pinks and some metal flecks here. I'm going to make a landscape card and a portrait card. So what I'm going to do, I have my card bases here. And I'm going to place these down, but I want to prop these up. So I am going to grab some double-sided foam, and I am going to fill the backs up here. And once I'm done with that, we will be right back, and I will show you what I'm going to do with those. Okay, so I'm back. Nobody needs to watch me put foam tape. So see, that's how I put my foam tape there. Got a little, crazy. So what I want to do is I'm going to put these onto my card bases. Now my card bases are the standard A2 size card base, and I just put paper in my coffee mug. Well, okay. There we go. And that means that that is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. Now I do like a card base that is a top folding card base. I'm not sure why. I just kind of gravitated to it. It's just something, sometimes we just gravitate to things when it comes to our crafting and certain ways that we put our images together and what we are creating. So in this case now, because I keep these on standby, I keep 4 1/4 by 11 pieces of paper. I cut my 8 1/2 by 11 down to that, and then I can just score it at 5 1/2. So I'm going to set this, since this is the same, this panel's cut to be 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to set that down onto the panel. All right, so now we have that set, and I'm going to do the same thing with this one. So now these panels, this is something that I absolutely gravitate to as well, and that is ink smushing. I love ink smushing. I love the look of it. I love the effects that you can get. How it's something that can be manipulated. And no two are ever alike, which is what I really like as well. I think that's kind of cool with the images that you get. It's also a grungy look, and that is something that I go for as well. You know, we all have our, I guess, themes or style, you know, clean and simple. Mine's usually grungy, messy, mixed media type thing. So, okay, back to the card. So I have these put together. Now you can see, even though these are reds, these are also going towards masculine Valentine's card. Now I know it's the day after Valentine's, but you know, I never celebrate a holiday on the day I'm supposed to, because, you know, life, it just happens. And I've been, you know, that's something that has happened with me within the last 2 weeks. So it's kind of why I've been kind of off cycle here. So we are back. Things are getting fixed. Okay. So back to the card. I'm rambling again. Oh my. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to place that right there. So now it creates a center focal point for our card. Now, what you could also do is actually cut this out of your card base so that when you have this is actually sitting on the inside. It's just another way to create, you know, your cards. You know, make it fun. Why do we, I don't need to do things. We don't always have to do traditional. This craft is always growing and expanding, and more things are coming around. But I also know that when we do this, and as we continue to build in this craft, let's use up what we have. And that's exactly what I did. I used up all of my scraps when it came to this. So that is our card front. So we've got some great grunginess going on here. It's not for everybody. You can see this beautiful stitched edge coming around this. This has been created as the medallion, but we're not done. And yes, I will show you what I did with these hearts from the front of these cards and what we can do with those as well. Okay, so for this one, I think I actually want to use this. Now I'll save this for another card, but I think I'm going to use this one. These colors, it's really funny when it comes to Valentine's. The first thing I think of is dark chocolate, red for cherries, and light brown for caramel. I don't know, it's just something I think about. So this will just nestle in here nicely. Again, making sure that it is as centered as it can be. I've got a lot of texture because of the layers that I have going on. And again, now we have a heart set within a heart. All right. Now, what we can do is now I have 2 more card bases. And what I also used is that awesome pinwheel, the pinpoint plate. I am a huge fan of this radial pinpoint plate. So I'm going to take this and I am going to glue this down onto my card bases. Get to hear that awesome sound. Now, both of these cards, again, I'm going to make one in landscape and I'm going to make one in portrait. I'm going to get that set. I'm going to push down. Now, you can put something heavy on top. I like to just put pressure because, honestly, I'm impatient. So you can see, it's one of the reasons why I do like the art glitter glue. It grabs quickly. And I'm going to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to make sure my glue is going out to the edge as I'm putting it down. I don't have to be perfectly at the edge because the liquid glue will spread as I push down. Then I'm going to flip this over, line this up in that bottom corner, pull it to the front, lay it down, and then I'll flip this over just so I can put that pressure on it. I use my heel of my palm, and then when I flip it over, it's adhered. So we have got some great, and I used ivory for the front of these. And here are the cutouts. Now what I did was I dug into my scraps and just used the scrap cardstock there. And this is a total of 5 layers, including this one. So I'm going to put this one right there, and I'm going to turn this, and I'm going to put that one just like that. But before I do, let's spice these up a little bit. So I've got my clear ink, and I've got my gold Recollections embossing powder here. Take that out, and I'm going to push this down into the sponge and just roll. And I know what you're thinking. I can't get into that point. That's okay. We're going to fix that. Okay, now I'm going to grab my Emboss It pen from Ranger, and that's where I'm going to go in. So, you know, we're just gonna go in along those edges and just fill it in. Not looking for it to be perfect. And again, we can do this all on the sides as well if we want, but I really, really want to make sure that is covered. And then I'm just going to turn it into my embossing powder. I'm going to dip it. And then I'm just going to, swish it in there. Just to, to get inside when it comes to that point area. Make sure we've got some great coverage there. I'm going to set this aside, and I'm going to do the same thing to this one, and when I come back, I'll show you what they look like. Okay, so this is what they look like, and then when I was done, what I did was just take a thick, just an old hog brush, a very stiff bristled brush, and just wiped away the excess of the powder. But you can see that just gives it a nice edging, and then it also fills in the edging around here with all of those layers. So it's just a way to finish off, your pieces. You could also use foiling, put glue down there and then use that thermoweb foil. Just another idea. Again, different ways. Use what you have, what you have access to. All right, so now I can take this, and I'm going to use that circle as my center point. And I'm going to set my heart right down in that and just make sure that it's even. I'm going to hold down my pressure just a little bit to make sure that the glue grabs. And then the same thing with this one. Kind of gives these hearts like a gilded effect. Again, I love the look of mixed media. I love this is going to sound really weird, the sloppiness, of it, but it comes together. It gives you that focal point. And I just think it's really great. And what's great is these are perfect for your masculine cards. We struggle so much to get those masculine cards put together. But these are the styles of cards. I think these are great for either female or male. I think they fit. There's nothing that's very pinky for Valentine's Day or, you know, Cupid-y. I mean, it's cute. It's adorable. Absolutely. Love it. It's a tradition. But again, just to take them outside, dig into your stash of the cardstock that you currently have because we can't get rid of it. These could be done great with pattern paper as well. But I just dug into my stash of my ink smush backgrounds and then only focused on the pinpoint sections of those pieces to stretch out our layering dies. This here and this here. But then also showing that it can be used for our focal layering dies that are available through Birch Press Designs. And then again, how much more versatile can you get with this pinpoint radial plate as well? So when we come back, I'm going to show you what these final cards look like with the sentiments that I'm going to put on and any embellishments. Be right back. And here are the final cards. So again, just added some gold gems. These are by Pretty Pink Posh. They are the metallic gold. And I love the pack because it comes with different sizes. I used the Honey Script by Birch Press that just simply says hugs. And I had that across the top. You can still see the image of the heart, but I didn't want to take away from the medallion that's in here. And then, of course, plenty of space inside to write. I do have foam squares underneath that so that they will stay propped up. But I just love the look of using what we have, and in my case, all of the ink smushed backgrounds. So this here kind of giving a resemblance of a chocolate-covered strawberry with caramel going on in there, or maybe a chocolate-covered apple, because they are awesome as well with caramel. Yay. They are my favorite. So I took the sentiment of love off to the side and just added all kinds of gems in the different sizes inside that heart, just to make that stand out as well. Now in here, you could always add either a texture, use a embossing folder for texture in the background, just to give that something. But I really wanted this to be the item that's standing out among the ink smushed background. Here are the two hearts that came from these other two cards, and what we can do simply by using the pinpoint radial plate to the back, just added one gem into that O of love going across that, and then I think with that gold embossing makes it look like it's a gilded gold coming in around that and just accents all the metallics going on in there. And then same thing with this. I added the hugs in black just to make that pop coming off. For this one and this one, I used the chocolate. And that's what the paper is called. Again, when I think of Valentine's, I think, you know, when you make a Valentine's card or a card with a heart, I immediately get chocolate in my head. So my sentiment should be brown. It's just something that my mind does. But you can see by using the black, the roughness, when it comes to these two images, it just pops up. And I am a huge fan of these dies here. I love the size. They are perfect. And then I love the fact that they have what I call the cloud in the back, and I used vellum for that. For this one, still have the gold going around the outside, and I just placed 5 different sizes of the gems going up along the one corner as if it's a highlight. So I hope this gave you some ideas, got you to be inspired to dig into your scraps. Scraps is what it's all about. Let's use them up. This is what I have. So I dug right on in. Did not use any new pieces of cardstock. So that's awesome, besides for my card bases. Really dug into my Birch Press dies on how I can stretch them out. How else can they be used? And here we can create the medallions. Okay, those center pieces from other plates, whether it's the focal already or whether it's coming from another plate. We can use those in different ways and make them the focal point. So as always, I hope you enjoyed this, gave you some more ideas, maybe it gave you a few tips along the way. All the products that I used, as always, will be linked down below in the video description. If you have any questions, leave those down below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Enjoy your day. Make sure we smile. Make sure we giggle. And remember, I am making sure that 2021 for myself and all of you is the year for the creator. Let's be creative at all times. Till next time, guys, take care.